What's up, guys, and welcome back to episode number 52 of Skins in the Game. We got
And we're only
J-Dubs in the house.
We're 2 minutes late. Sorry.
We're 2 minutes late. I know Dad was so late that I was kidding. It was completely my fault. Definitely overslept. Woke up to my dad calling me, but we made it here pretty much on time. So we did our best. I did my best. But anyway, how you doing today, J-Dubs?
Doing good. Jumped in the pool today. It was 87 degrees.
Ooh.
Did a little swimming. Did not golf today, but it was good. And then I was in the pool and I heard thunder, so I got out and it was like the most wicked thunderstorm that was right next to us. I mean, I was talking to your sister Rita, and my God, there was one thunder strike that almost lifted me out of my seat. It was vicious, but as soon as I heard the thunder, I'm like, I'm getting out of the pool.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I guess that's a good warning sign. But yeah, I know those storms come and go quick down there in Florida, for sure.
They do.
Awesome. Well, we got a good show tonight. We got Alex Smith rearing his head up again. We'll talk about that a little bit. Of course, Dan Snyder, another situation there. We'll talk a little bit about the roster, where it's at right now, leading into the draft. And then we got draft stuff. And I have a little exercise that'll be fun. We did it with Nadi last night. We'll do it again here with J-Dubs. And then a final question at the end. But as of every week, we're going to start with the dad joke of the week.
Okay. Well, I tried to find a decent one.
Okay.
If a child refuses to sleep during nap time, are they guilty of resisting arrest?
True. Yes, they are. It's a fact, actually. And they should get 2 to 3 hours in bed immediately in the middle of the day. That should be their sentence. There you go. Awesome. All right, Dad. What do you got this week?
And the website is totally screwing with me right now. Let me see if I can pull it up. But this was a comparison of Darrell Green versus Deion Sanders.
Oh.
Two of the arguably best cornerbacks out there.
Mm-hmm.
And what really took me, I mean, they went through a bunch of stuff, but what really I thought was the takeaway that as far as speed, that the top 10 list of the fastest NFL players ranks Deion Sanders at number 3 and Darrell Green at number 1. The program claims Sanders could run a 4.2, but according to Gridiron Studs, Green for a number of years would clock in at a 4.0 to 4.2. And according to staticbrain.com, Sanders ran a 4.21 while Green ran a 4.15. But it is unheard of to be under 4.2.
Mm-hmm.
And Green routinely recorded speeds at under 4.2, and his best recorded one was 4.15. So I just thought, they went through all of the, interceptions, returns, punt returns, blah, blah, blah.
Uh-huh.
Deion Sanders was used a lot for punt returns. Darrell Green was only used a couple times, but he was primarily defense. And as we all know, he ran down Tony Dorsett and Eric
Dickerson.
Eric Dickerson, but just he recorded speeds at under 4.2. And I thought that was.
And people train the 40-yard dash today for going into the NFL, and they still can't get sub 4.2. I think the fastest one yet is a 4.23 by John Ross from the Bengals, I believe. I don't think anybody's hit 4.22 yet. I might be wrong. I know technically somebody reached a 4.21 this year, but when it was that was unofficial. When they re-timed it, I think it was like a 4.28 or something like that. The 40 times this year were so bad for the combine. The original unofficial times, there was like 10 receivers in the low 4.3 or sub 4.3 range. Oh, Ross ran a 4.22. Okay, I was the right player, but I was a little bit off on the time. But okay, fair enough. Yeah, that's just
Well, and I just wanted to
blazing.
add one other thing that at 40 years old, the rookies were giving Daryl Green a hard time, and they were like, "Run the 40-yard again," and he beat them all at 40. So, and look,
Yeah,
Deion Sanders was a flashy guy. I always liked the fact, not arguing his talent, but I always liked the fact that Daryl Green never, ever ran his mouth.
yeah,
Deion Sanders couldn't help but do that.
yeah.
And again,
Hey, Dad,
great talent.
can you turn your mic down maybe a little? It's like doing whenever you're talking. It's like doing a little.
All right, hold on.
I don't know
Yep.
if it's like reaching its max thing too
Oh,
often
yeah.
or.
How about, is this better?
We'll find out. I
Okay.
didn't hear it pop right there. So, but anyway, yeah, no, obviously Dion definitely had a mouth on. Daryl Green and him are very, very two different personalities. But Deion Sanders was the best corner of all time. But yeah, Daryl Green was definitely faster, clearly. But I remember there was one thing I read that said he ran like an unofficial sub 4, like 4 point, like it was like a 3.98 or something like that.
It's
But
entirely possible. I
Green
mean,
at least tackled. Fair.
well, that was the other thing because they
Yeah.
covered speed,
Uh huh.
which Green run. Hold on, let me get back on it here. They covered versatility. Sanders won that
Hmm.
because he ran a lot more punt returns. They did durability. Um, they basically said there was a tie because they both played a lot of years, although Daryl Green played 20 straight years.
Hmm.
Um, and tackling winner was Green, hands down, because there were so many videos of Deion Sanders running away from tackles.
Hmm.
So, to our listeners' point, that Daryl Green would get right in there and wrap somebody up and tackle him. Deion Sanders wanted nothing to do with that.
Gotcha.
So,
Fair enough.
what do you got?
What do I got? We got a winner of the tournament. They actually hit me up. And
Would it be me? No.
nope. It's a person named Rick. We have the winner. They sent me proof that yes, Fall 18 was their bracket. So congratulations to Rick for winning the March Madness tournament in 2022 of the Tim Sports Talk Challenge. So we will be getting the prize there shortly. I've ordered the shirt and it's going to be in the mail. Speaking of shirts, there is a link to a Teespring store that you can order offline and order your first Tim's Sports Talk merch. It's going to be Tim the Stat Man because that's what eventually the new name is going to be, and a whole rebrand's coming. But it is the first piece of merch for the channel, so you can order one for yourself if you would like now with the link below. All right.
Wait. Hold on. I think we
Yeah.
should review the chat. I see Just Knows says Dion punched a rookie in the face for trying to chop block him.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, and yeah, the veterans were much meaner to rookies back in the day. Like the
Oh, they could be.
what do you call it? The hazing back in the 80s, 90s, 70s and earlier was absolutely brutal back then. You can't be nearly as mean today. They still do some things to the rookies today. I know they make them do like what do you call it, talent shows, or maybe they make them dance and sing or something silly like during training camp or whatever, but it's not nearly as brutal. And they used to make them carry everything as far as pads and helmets, and I don't know
Oh,
if
and
they
then
still can do
they'd
that,
make him
but
break into a song like in the locker room. Hey, you
yeah.
gotta sing a song, and it was like, or in the cafeteria.
Yeah,
So
the
wait,
hazing was
what's
real.
Red? Is that true? Red Wing that says that Champ Bailey and Dion were on the team when Daryl was 40. Were they all on that same team? I'm
I know Champ was, and yeah, Dion was a Redskin late in his career. He might be right, and they may have all three been on the team at the same time in like '99 or something
Wow,
like
that's
that.
impressive. That's a hell of a backfield. That's all I got to say. Or
Yeah.
secondary, I should
Yeah,
say.
secondary. Hold on, 99. I think it would have been 99 Redskins. Redskins roster. That is. I never thought about it that way, but it may have been because it was 90. Oh no, 2000. He says, was it the 2000 Redskins? Let's
Oh,
see.
Red Wings saying 2000, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because I don't see him on here. But oh, you know what? No, So Champ Bailey and Daryl Green were on the 99 team, so the 2000 Redskins roster. That's going to be nasty if that's... So Champ Bailey, Deion Sanders. It doesn't have Daryl Green listed on here. There it is. Nope, Daryl Green's listed. So yeah, that's a nasty three. That might be the best trio of corners of all time, even though Deion at that time was pretty washed up and he wasn't a top of his game.
But Champ Bailey loved to let the long ball go.
Yeah, and also Champ Bailey was, a second-year player at this point. So, but if you could get all three of those in their prime on the same team, good gosh, that would
my God.
Oh, my Lord.
When they said that Daryl Green scared quarterbacks into not throwing against him, so that's and I know I saw what Justin said.
At least to be $1 million fine and 3 apology letters if he punched a rookie in the face. That'd be funny. But go ahead.
No, I was just saying that. Hold on. Now, my mind the train completely jumped.
The trio of corners that if they were on the same team in their prime, is that sparking any memories of what you wanted to say?
No, and if it comes back to me, it'll come back to me. But
it was sounds good. All right, well, let's hop into the Alex Smith. So Alex Smith comes out of the media again, and to be fair to Alex, he's asked these questions, and he just answers them honestly. I don't think he's coming out to just crap on the team out of nowhere. It's not like he's seeking this stuff out, but he's one of the best comeback stories of history. He is going to continue to be interviewed, and that he is a past quarterback of the Redskins. And so when they get a new quarterback, that's an obvious question to be asked. So I don't think it's necessarily his fault, but he does answer honestly. And when asked what advice does he give for Carson Wentz coming into Washington, he says, it was hard to silence the noise in Washington. So he's got to keep his nose to the grindstone and can try to silence the noise the best he can. Is he right? Should he have shut up? What's your take on Alex Smith?
First of all, I think they're not mutually exclusive. Was he right, or should he have kept his mouth shut?
Then you can make it an and instead of an or.
Well, the Redskins were the only team that were going to give him a chance to make a comeback. No other team was going to say, if the Redskins said no, look, dude, we're interested in your health or whatever, there was no way he was going to get signed. So the Redskins actually let him stay on and make his complete comeback. And now he's going to throw them. Now he's going to throw them under the bus. Like, oh, I'm going to tell Carson Wentz that there was a lot of noise. Then why did you ever even want to come back to the Redskins? Right? I mean, if they were so bad, why would you have worked so hard to get back on the field for one more season? And then after, when you're no longer relevant, it happens to every athlete out there. Now they ask him, oh, what would you tell Carson Wentz? And he's going to go down the road of what we all know. Look, we all know.
Yep.
He's not like, busting any news story. We all know there's a bunch of background crap. And he's got to come in and say, well, I told Carson that there's a lot of background noise and you got to learn to just filter it out. Okay. Is the Redskins the only team like that? I don't know. But I just call it
I actually think he said as much in his thing. He's like, I don't think he said it was the only one. But to be fair, there's no other one like us right now. I mean, the last few years since Alex Smith has gotten here too, it's ramped up to a new level, and it's gotten out of control. The last 2 seasons or 3 seasons probably for us ever since we announced our name change, and it's just been an absolute killer with the news break and news break and news break and news break and news break. And the latest one, do you think it's true that Dan Snyder actually withheld money from the rest of the NFL? My thought, real quick, and you can go, is there's got to be some checks and balances, right? It's not literally that they can just send whatever piece of paper saying whatever numbers, right? I don't know. Like, what do you think? You think it's real?
I have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
But I talked to your uncle, and he was like, well, most of the seat tickets were sold to the other team anyway. So.
Yeah.
No, I don't know what to think. I wouldn't be surprised, but I agree. This is not like under the table, hey, Redskins or any team.
Mm-hmm.
You tally up and you give the percentage to the other team. It's like, is the NFL not involved in that? I don't.
Right.
I would think they would have some kind of inside, with electronics and all these tracking things.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, no, we only sold a couple $100 in seats. So, the seats were really empty.
We may have hit 4 digits, maybe.
Yeah, I think. Wait, maybe there was 100 seats of 100 fans in the stadium. So I don't know. I think my personal opinion is I think that maybe it's gotten to the point where the NFL is like, okay, he is a pariah or whatever you want to call it, and that we need to do something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I did ask, again, to bring back your uncle, I asked last night, I said, do you think there's any chance with the accusations against Dan Snyder and these other guys about how they treated women that Tanya who's now supposedly the CEO,
Mm-hmm.
is actually telling Dan to go screw himself, and it's like, I'm running the team, shut up? Or do you think they're sitting at dinner every night and Dan's telling her, Tanya, you got to do this, you got to do that? It's an honest question. I don't know, because I know women don't like to see other women treated like crap.
Yeah.
And there's accusations that Dan did some stuff. So I think there's a small chance that Tanya Snyder's going, you know what? They gave me control of the team. You go away. I don't want to hear nothing. And she's running it.
I don't know. That's interesting. Dan Snyder could totally be a kind of dude that, because he's so, like, he demands respect from everybody, even though he never earns it. And he always wants people to call him Mr. Snyder, or like he has some sort of ego complex, like little man syndrome, that because he portrays that, he may have a complete, like, Tanya may wear the pants in the relationship actually inside, and he has to overcompensate to the rest of the world because she's the leader of the house, and then now with her being the CEO, like, that's kind of funny. I don't know. It's
Well, now if she decided to divorce him, she's getting half.
Oh,
and by the way,
yeah.
just know I don't agree with that statement. It cost Alex
Smith a
leg. Look, that's unfortunate. I don't care. You could have the worst offensive line in the world of all times, and to have somebody give you a spiral fracture, that's hard to blame that on the fact that he played for the Redskins.
Yeah.
Although the Redskins did have 2 of them.
2 of them. Yeah, and we've had other shins. Protect your fibulas was a thing for a while. You'd tell our quarterbacks. I mean, because didn't Case Keenum hurt his leg? Colt McCoy hurt his leg. There was a lot of hurt fibulas in the last couple of years as well. But I don't know. my thing with this Dan Snyder rumor, first off, whatever gets him out, I'm happy about. Like if he does get kicked out of this league because of it, good. I'm happy. Even if it is fake news, I don't care. Whatever gets him kicked out of being the Redskins owner, I'm happy. I just find this one hard to believe that it's 100% true. Like maybe there was a year that maybe something got mixed up, but as you said, whenever we go to the games, we have to scan the ticket. So it's all electronically checked, and for the NFL to have no access to that information at any point in the last 20 years that he's been owner, 25 years, I think it's very odd that that could possibly have gotten by without somebody saying anything.
Oh, and if that was the case, do we think the 32 other or 31 other teams wouldn't have thought, hey, they're not paying attention. Let's see if we can skim off the top. And what are we talking about? Tickets.
What's that?
What's that?
No, what do you mean? What are we talking about tickets?
Well, what are we talking about them skimming off the top?
Like how much money?
I think they're making the majority of their money off of Fox News or Fox Sports, and they're making the majority of their money off of different ways, sponsors.
Well, no, seat sales I think are about a third of the revenue. Like it's a substantial chunk of what the NFL makes is ticket sales. Because there's like most stadiums have like 80,000 seats, right? If you have 80,000 seats, let me pull up my calculator.
No, I think 80,000's. I think it's closer to 70 or 65, but I get your point.
All right, fine, 70,000, and you pay like 120 a ticket, and you're decent seats. So let's say 110 on average.
Tim, you have never paid 120 for a ticket to go to a Redskins game that I've ever known you.
Yeah, but that's irrelevant. It's what do they charge? So times, let's say 110 on average. That's 7.7 million per game times 8 home games. That's 61 million times 32 teams. That's a big number. Almost $2 billion, $1.97 billion a year are just ticket sales on if you average it out to 70,000 seats in a stadium.
Across the league, though.
Yeah, that's the entire league. And I think it's like $5.5 billion in revenue a year. So that's about just over a third in revenue for the NFL just in ticket sales. And that doesn't include, obviously, jersey sales. That doesn't include the stand, the food and beer and things like that they make a ton of money off as well, just for people to get into the stadium. So that doesn't include any.
By the way, what beer is Snyder going to serve next year? Because Anheuser-Busch is out.
They're not allowing any sales of Bud Light or because is that who owns Anheuser-Busch? They own all of Bud Light and Budweiser, right?
Well, and a lot of other, they're
Yeah.
a distributor of a lot of other others, but look, in semi-pro hockey teams, breweries or distributors, whatever you want to call them, offer, if you just sell our product at your stadium, we'll give it to you for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So Anheuser-Busch was giving all their beer to Snyder and the Redskins with the idea of we're advertising. They were giving it for nothing. Yeah. So somebody else has got to come in to do that. So you're $20,
says Dan.
Yeah.
So Colt 45.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny.
So, but my point is, okay, for whatever reason, Anheuser-Busch was like, you know what? Even though you're talking about all the revenue you can get for people in the stands, then Anheuser-Busch was like, you know what? It's no longer worth our advertising dollar. So they gave all the beer they needed for nothing, and now they're out. So who's going to pick up the
I don't
slack?
know.
I don't know.
That's going to be interesting, and hopefully nobody, because I want them to sell this team. I want him to be forced to sell so bad for so many reasons. I think that it would be so much better. I mean, honestly, they always say, like the grass is not always greener, right? Could you imagine an owner that's worse? We're way below 500 in the last 25 years, so winning, it's not like he's winning. We have way too many off the field things. He overspends on garbage. He doesn't know how to hire a coach in most scenarios. We'll see if Ron Rivera is his first one that he can, other than I guess Joe Gibbs. And then when he does hire a decent coach, he messes it up, like Mike Shanahan or Marty Schottenheimer. I think he only gave a year or something like that, even though they went above 500 and he fired them.
They were 500.
Or 500, right. Yeah, but in this year
which is what Joe Gibbs did.
Yeah, so can an owner? I don't think there's any possible way an owner could be worse. Like, it's got to be greener. You could hire, or anybody could buy the team, and it has to go up.
So why is Jerry Jones so good?
Why is Jerry Jones so good? Well, at least they've had double-digit wins, 12 wins. They haven't won a Super Bowl, but at least they've had 11 or 12, I think even a 13-win season. We've only had 10 wins is our max since Dan Snyder's been here in a league that is built for every fourth year for you to have at least some success.
Okay, but Jerry Jones had the RV where all the cheerleaders were in there and all his buddies were in there.
They've had franchise quarterbacks, right? They've had double-digit win teams. They've last I checked, they're still named the Cowboys. We can't even keep our name.
No, I think that's the saddest part of this whole thing is I think Dan Snyder thought, if I just give up the Redskins name, then they're going to get off my back. And that's what frustrates me more than anything about him is he thought, okay, this stuff is coming down the pike. If I just say, oh, you know what, we're going to give up on the Redskins and we'll spend 2 years trying to find a new name, that everything was going to smooth out, and it didn't. And I just wish to me, all the other moves to him that he's made is pales in comparison to the fact that after he said we will never change the name, he did it because he thought it was going to be his way out.
It's definitely, it sucks for us, but obviously I would have to say that the worst thing that comes out of this is that several women have been mistreated. But I get your point that it sucks for us. It's like, instead of him just walking away or getting out with all of that going on, he's now just taking everything we love with him on top of doing just the scummiest crap on top of it and just ruining in so many things. But yeah, it's a crapshoot. But anyway, before I'll give you the last word before we go ahead and move on to actual football things. But go ahead, last words. Yeah.
No, and look, this might be a controversial opinion, and I never condone any bad treatment of anybody, whether it's women, men, or anybody else. I do not condone this, but it's so prevalent in whether it's Hollywood or anywhere you can get some kind of notoriety, or not even notoriety, but if it was bad, leave or tell somebody and sue, but don't stay there and say, well, this was my only chance to do what I wanted to do. Again, I'm not saying it's right, but all these women, just like Alex Smith, after he's gone, now he's going to go, oh, well, everything really sucked there. Yeah, but you stayed there and you got paid a lot of money. So all I'm saying is that if these women, the cheerleaders, and all these other people that were treated horrendously, then leave.
All right, now that we're canceled, let's go ahead and move on to the football team.
Oh, did I jump over?
No, I told you that I was going to give you the last word, so I'm not going to at anything else. So
Yeah, you said why we were canceled because
oh,
now
well, that was funny.
no.
But yes.
I'm saying I said the wrong thing. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we will get the backlash eventually. But no, it is what it is. And it sucks. And I hope Dan is out. Here we go. Here's the question. All right, we're heading into the draft here in just a couple of weeks. I think we're 2 weeks away from draft. No, 3 weeks away tomorrow. So tomorrow we'll start the 3-week point. Is our roster better, worse than even? Or, excuse me, better, worse, or even right now going into 2022 before the draft than it was at any point in 2021?
That's a crapshoot. I mean, we have players. I don't think we have enough receivers. But
Yeah.
How do you measure that? I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because basically the question is the upgraded quarterback outweigh what we lost? Because if you actually look at the roster, the only thing we added was Carson Wentz and Andrew Norwell.
Yep.
Everybody else was already on the team pretty much, right? We re-signed J.D. McKissick, re-signed Cam Sims, Troy Apke, Joey Sly the kicker. We basically just re-signed our own. We signed a guard of Andrew Norwell, and we traded for a quarterback. That's pretty much the extent. So does the quarterback, the upgraded quarterback, which we all agree is an upgrade, and if you disagree, I think you're a little bit nuts, to be honest. We all love Heineke and what he could do, except we now have 6'5".
Heineke had heart. Yeah. That's all he had.
Right. So, in your opinion, does that upgraded quarterback make us a better football team than losing Brandon Sheriff, Matt Ioannidis, Eric Flowers, Tim Settle? And those are pretty much the big names that we lost. And then everybody else is pretty much the same.
No, I think Carson Wentz did pretty well in Indianapolis with almost no offensive line, and they picked up another Panther. What was the guy that they picked up that played for? Didn't they pick up a
Norwell
tackle?
Was an ex-Panther. He was a guard.
Thank you.
Yeah, but Norwell was the Panther.
Look, I just think we need to find someone to complement Terry.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm fine with the defense where we're at. I think we need to figure out the middle linebacker and the secondary, the safety, maybe, but I'm fine. We just need to find someone to play opposite of Terry.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think Carson Wentz is going to find him. Yeah. But we need somebody other than Terry McLaurin on the outside. Yeah, right.
I gotcha.
Schmuck Johnson.
Right? Oh, yeah, Ofena, Arbata or somebody. Oh, yeah, we did sign a defensive end from Africa somewhere on that.
Trying to give depth
international
to the line.
Program. Yeah. Because I don't know how much he's going to actually perform for us, but we did technically get FA, yeah. But is that the tipping point? Does that make us the better team than last year? For me to answer the question, I say yes. I think that quarterback upgrade was that significant. Now, am I putting also a little bit of stock in who I believe that we can add in this draft as well to make us a better team? Probably. But even as of right now, we lost 2 guards, but guard to me is already not an extremely important position, but also we have one of the best offensive line coaches in the league. So pretty much if we get 5 somewhat decent dudes on our O-line, I feel like our O-line is going to perform top-notch, like a top 10 offensive line pretty much. I do find it sad that we lost Tim Settle and Matt Ioannidis, but losing our rotational defensive tackles to me does not even compare at the upgrade of quarterback. And also, you got to remember, we added by subtraction by getting rid of John Bostic. I mean, not having John Bostic on the team already makes us a better team. So to me, I say yes. We are a better team heading into 2022 than we were heading into 2021 because I didn't think Ryan Fitzpatrick was going to do enough for us anyway. And then we'll see what we can get out of our young players. And now we also have a full draft. So I say yes. Do you have any disagreements there?
I don't. But I wanted to ask you this question.
Yeah.
I made a bet with your uncle.
Uh-huh.
We make $5. I mean, we're not changing anybody's tax bracket, but
Yep.
the over under that the bet is, I bet that over under is 10.5. That how many games that Carson Wentz starts.
Oh. Over under is 10.5 of how many he's going to start.
Right. So, and again, this means if he gets, if he plays 5 games, gets hurt and out in a couple weeks, he's got to start 11 games out of the 17. So I made that bet, and your Uncle Rob thinks he got the better of me, but I don't know.
That he's not going to play 10.5?
Yeah, so 10. If he plays 10, he wins. 11, I win.
Wow.
But it's $5.
I think he's every single year at least played 10.
That's
so I think the odds
are
forever in your favor right now. Like, I would take your bet. Now, if he made it 13.5, now it's a bet. Now I think it's very interesting. But 10.
No, I think I got the better of him with.
Yeah,
10.
I do too. I hope you bet big money on that. No, I know. I know you bet dollars. It's not a big deal. But no, it's
$5.
$5.
Everything we bet is $5.
Oh, okay. So you upgrade to. I'm way too poor for $5 continuous bets. Oh gosh, no, just kidding.
No,
but,
we just.
Yeah,
I
think he's gonna play. I think he's gonna play more than 10.5, and I think he should play the whole season as well. He's gonna be protected well. He's older, more experienced. He has more ability. Like, I think it's gonna be a cheap shot that knocks him out, if anything. And please no, knock on wood that we don't run into a cheap shot. But I think he is going to play. But speaking of health, Curtis had his hamstring or his groin rather last year. Logan Thomas and Chase Young both tore their ACLs. What's your prediction on how healthy those 3 will be?
I have no freaking idea. I mean, I hope for the best. I always do that, but it's a crapshoot. What's your prediction? Wait, what was that? Hold on.
Carson Wentz in full season don't go well together.
Well, actually, look at his past.
He's played 6 seasons. 3 of them he's played the full year. 3 of them he's missed time. And I think the least amount he played was 10 games. And then he had like a 14 game and a 13 game in there, I think, throughout. So he's 50-50 on whether he's going to play the full season. But I think it's way over 50-50 if he's going to play 11 games. It's like 5 out of 6.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's like not like he's out after, Fitzgerald or Fitzpatrick or
Fitzmagic, Fitztragic, the whole spectrum. No.
Yeah, I made it 1 quarter.
1 quarter and a half or so. 16 plays, I think he played. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But all right, here we go. So Curtis, I'm gonna go one by one. Curtis, I think he's gonna be fine. He ended up pulling his hamstring or tearing his not hamstring. Why do I keep saying hamstring? Groin, pulling it or tearing it, whatever.
That's right so close to each other, though.
Yeah. A leg injury. He had a leg injury of a pulled muscle of some sort going in to the 2021 season. I think he's going to be fine in 2022. Usually pulled muscles, they need time to rest. I don't think we gave him enough time to rest last year. And then we tried force him back. It got tweaked. Force him back, tweak. Force him back, tweak. And it didn't really work out because we wanted to make the playoffs and we came up just short. Now, Logan, I'm going to save for last. Chase Young, I'm going to ask you this. Do you give him any excuse coming off an ACL tear to be a little bit slow this year and maybe not have a great season coming into his 3rd year as a defensive end?
No, until Chase Young learns more than one move,
Uh-huh.
he's never going to be that guy. And I think he's a freak athlete.
Uh-huh.
He is an amazing talent, but Charles Mann, um, who is it? Not Dexter Manley. There was somebody else who was
Yeah.
saying that he's a one-trick pony
Yeah.
and he needs to diversify. And if he can do that, and then they can start moving him around the line, I think he's going to wreak havoc on offensive line. But I'm not worried about him being injured. I'm worried about him figuring out how to do more than just a sweep move. And
Sweep around the pocket. Yeah, right? Sweep around the pocket.
Or wait, I can do it this way too.
Yeah, it's like your dance move, right? And they go this way and then go this way.
That's all I got.
That's funny. Yeah, I agree. I don't give Chase Young any passes this year, and I believe an ACL tear in 2022 is not the end of the world that it once was. He should be back, fully healthy, ready to go. And Nick Bosa had a torn ACL 2 seasons ago, and last year came back with like nearly 20 sacks or 16 sacks or something stupid like that. Chase Young, if he really is the number 2 pick that we wanted, he's got to perform this year, ACL tear or nothing. I don't care.
Yep.
He's got to perform.
By the way, did we talk?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Before you move on, did we talk about the fact that they interviewed Charles Mann, and he said that him and Dexter Manley would happily come to spring training or OTAs or whatever, and impart what they know. I mean, Charles Mann was a beast on defense. And they said, if the Redskins would just ask us, we will go there and work with their defensive linemen. Why haven't they? It's like, oh my God.
You have such a great asset here. Use it, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're willing to come in for they're like, we won't charge any money. We just want to come in and talk to the guys.
Doorgutter says Bruce Smith offered last year to come. Ooh, that's nasty.
Hey, I mean, and are they not accepting? It's like, just let them go in and talk to them. But Charles Mann was saying that Chase Young is an amazing talent, but he needs to learn technique, and he doesn't know technique. And this is a guy that was premier in the league, that he just wants to go in and talk to him. If the Redskins don't take advantage of that and just have him come in and say, hey, just hang out. I don't care what you say to who, but oh my God, why?
You have
There's
such a
been
great
no response.
opportunity. No, and coaches also they have, the quote unquote their self-respect. Like they're not going to try to. They don't want to admit that they don't know what they're doing and having a bad time. But Sam Mills, the defensive line coach, should have been fired after year 1. But after this year, I don't know how you could go through an evaluation process of the defensive line and be pleased with how your coach coached them up.
Oh my God.
You have 4 first-round picks on the D-line, and we're not leading the league in pressures and sacks at that point?
Right.
Like, what are you doing?
But, Tim, to your point, I understand if you're a coach, a line coach or whatever, that is questioning you're not sure, then you don't want these guys to come in. If I'm confident of what I'm doing, I want these Pro Bowlers to come in and say, hey, listen to what this guy's saying.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're not bringing them in, it's because you're thinking, maybe, I don't know, like they're going to show me up. So anyway, that's my opinion.
The only one that's scary is this Logan, apparently. Logan is the tight end, is there's reports that he may not be back until October, which the scary part about that is we don't have but only 2 tight ends. One of them is a second-year player, and the other one's Sammis Reyes from that international program that he needs time. He needs work. I don't know. I feel like we may end up drafting a tight end. I know you have thoughts on that, so let's go ahead and hop into this draft. All right. Pick number 11. Do you want to go there or do you? Let's go pick number 11 first. What would you do at pick number 11?
Well, and I don't know. I'm not an expert, but I
Yeah.
know they're talking about
Who do you like?
hold on. This wide receiver. Hold on. Let me see if I hope I didn't close it up. Christian Watson.
Okay.
They say he's the most elite receiver. I don't have the bio on him. Sorry, my
No, you're good. I know
Google.
6'5". He's a 6'4", 6'5" receiver out of North Dakota State University. He runs a sub 4.4, blazing speed. You can use him in multiple ways as far as jet sweeps, going deep, running a route. He seems to be a really interesting prospect for sure. And yeah, so what were you saying about somebody said that he was the most elite?
No, I'm just saying that they and look, this is.
You don't have to qualify. Just say what you're thinking.
I don't know. I want to know who said it.
Oh, okay.
And I don't have the. I always like to quote source, but there's no source here. They're just saying right now, if they want to go wide receiver, he's the most elite guy that's going to be available at number 11. And he's got size, he's got speed, and I would love to see somebody like that opposite Terry, because now the defense can't key on Terry.
Yep.
And look, I love Terry, but I don't think he's that receiver where he's like going to. If they put the best guy on him, they're going to have a hard time connecting with him. Great guy, but you put somebody like this on the other side, now the defense has to think, who am I going to cover? And now maybe Terry gets the second guy, and maybe this guy, Christian Watson, can outclass the primary guy. Now you might be dangerous. I don't know.
Well, just to let you know, Terry led the league by twice as many in contested catches last year. So he is a guy that even if the guy is covering him, he could still come down with the football. And so I think Terry can be a number one. Do I like Christian Watson? I do like Christian Watson. At 11 is probably too early, but I do like his size. I compare him to a guy in the league right now as Chase Claypool from the Steelers. And Chase Claypool is an awesome receiver. Is he top notch? No. But with him and Terry, that's a dangerous duo. As you know me, I've been wanting a receiver with size for a while. So I would love to get a guy with that much size and that much speed, great hands. I would be interested. I think 11's a little bit too early. Everybody else in the chat is saying trade back, or a lot of people in the chat are saying trade back. I think pretty much all of us can agree that's the ideal. Like, if we can trade back and get a talented player as well, I'm all for it.
So how far back do you think, I mean, assuming you want Christian Watson for them to pick, how far back do you think they can go? Second round? Late first?
Yeah, I think I would say if I really wanted Christian Watson, the farthest I would guarantee to trade back would be in front of the Packers. Because I think the Packers want a receiver that may end up one of him. Yeah, without no Devontae Adams. So wherever the Packers are picking, I think they're like 26, 27, somewhere in there. So I would say right around 25 is the farthest I would trade back if I really wanted him and felt comfortable about getting him there. Where I do think there's potential that he's there all the way to our second round pick. Right? I think there is a potential, but I wouldn't guarantee that. And if it's somebody that I'm really keying on, I would go ahead and take him at worst pick 25. That's where I would go back.
So let's go. Makes sense. So what are you getting in your mind to go from 11 to 25?
Whew, that's a good question. So there is a chart that we could look up of what the picks
They're always accurate.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, so you could use that potentially to get an idea of where you should be in the trade. Now, I know that the Bears traded up from around, I think, pick 20-ish. I think pick 20 or pick 21, and they went to pick number 11 from 21, and they traded a first-round pick from the next year, and I believe another late-round pick. So
Okay.
I think they swapped picks, added a first round, and then I think like a fifth, maybe somewhere in there.
So
I think.
you're going to get a couple future picks out of it. So,
Yeah. And, like maybe one for this draft, somewhere in like the 4th, 5th range. So to trade back to 25, I would probably want a third this year, at least, and a first next year, and move back to 25. So we could get back into the 3rd round, the pick that we lost. We lost our 3rd round pick with the Carson Wentz trade, and then add a first round, and that would basically recover us fully from the Carson Wentz trade. Because we are probably losing a 2nd round pick next year, and then we lost a 3rd round pick. So if we gain the 3rd round pick back and then gain a 1st round pick, who cares if we lost a 2nd? We got 2 firsts now. And we got a potential quarterback in the future, and then we have capital to move up big time if we need to.
And you still got the guy you wanted.
And we got a guy that's a quality player of a position of need. Now, Christian Watson isn't the guy that I would do it for.
All right, so who would you do it for?
I like George Pickens. I love George Pickens. I think he's the best receiver in this draft.
So what's his bio?
6'3", just over 200 pounds, runs a 4.4 flat. He can give you the entire package, and probably because tremendous route running. I mean, he's got some double, triple moves in his highlight tape that like fakes inside, goes up, then kicks it out, gets separation, great hands. He's got tremendous deep ball ability. Like they've seen him throw it, diving for it, selling out his body. And probably one of my favorite things about George Pickens in his highlight tape is he has pancaked some guys in the secondary in the blocking game. He is a willing blocker, tough, gritty guy as well. So I love him the most.
No, it makes sense. How do you think he compares to the demand on the board between him and Christian Watson? Would he last longer, less? Do we have to leverage more?
That's a fair question. I do think they're in a similar ballpark of what they like. I think George Pickens is probably the slightly better prospect because he's also coming from the SEC, which is obviously a bigger football conference, than Christian Watson coming in of the whatever you call the North Dakota State Conference. But yeah.
Okay, so if we trade back from 11 to 25, is Pickens still there?
Yes. I think so. I think both of them are still there.
Okay.
But I think Pickens is less likely to be there. Let's put it that way. But I think both of them are still there. But anyway, this is a little bit of fantasy land because I don't think that that's going to end up happening. But I like it. But it's however, comma. Yeah. However, comma. A lot of people are saying Jameson Williams. Jameson Williams coming off of an ACL tear in January is a little bit interesting. And also George Pickens came off an ACL tear, but he did play since then, and he ran a 4.4 at the 40, so I think his knee's fine now. But Jameson Williams, a lot of people love this dude. I just hate to draft a guy in the first round of his kind of size. He's like 6'1", 180 pounds or something like that. Height is not a huge problem.
I don't know anything about Jameson Wilson.
Jameson Williams has got a lot of attention. People are saying that he would easily be the first receiver off the board if he did not have an ACL tear. And some people think he's still going to be a top 15 pick, even with the ACL tear. So I've mentioned it before with Chase Young that ACL tears are not what they used to be. Like, they can recover from ACL, but it is what it is. Would I freak out if they took Jameson Williams? No. Pretty much I wouldn't freak out if they took any of these receivers, except for probably, even though I want a big body guy, I don't like Drake London as much because I don't.
Wait, are you talking at number 11? If they took any of these receivers at number 11, you wouldn't freak out, or just?
It's not my ideal, but I'm not gonna just absolutely crap on the team about it. If out of the receivers that probably will go in that range, okay, now we're going about a little bit more realistic. I like the most out of, there's basically Jamison Williams, Drake London, Traylon Burks, Chris Olave, and my guy that I would take would be Garrett Wilson from Ohio State. This is the kind of guy that you watch tape, and yeah, a lot of people have hands, but there's something,
hands.
yeah, there's something different on film when you're watching it, and it's kind of hard to explain, but when they catch the ball, it looks like glue. Like, it looks like immediately, even one hand, doesn't matter. It's like Odell Beckham Jr., like, he catches the ball, that ball does not spin anymore, that ball does not move, it's just bang, like, stick 'em.
Well, it's exactly, that's what I was going to say, stick 'em. You put enough stick 'em on there. It's like
He's 6 foot, like around 183 pounds. Not the great size that I want. But as talk about a pure route runner, he runs a sub 4.4, great speed. He can get open downfield. He can get open underneath. He's a guy, and then he has hands through the roof. I think out of the guys that are projected to go in that range and will most likely be there, I would go Garrett Wilson personally, but I think the team likes Chris Olave the most, which is another guy that's pretty much a very similar build to Garrett Wilson, very similar players. I just think also Garrett Wilson brings a little bit more toughness to the game.
And I'm sorry,
a little bit harder to break down.
But
yeah.
Clarify to me, are you talking about the pick at 11?
Yes.
Like if they don't trade back?
They don't trade back. Pick 11.
All right, thank you. I thought you said that earlier. I just wanted to clarify.
Yes, that's where I'm at with that one. All right, here's the exercise that I think is fun. We did this last night with Nati, and then we have one more question after that, and we'll get out of here. So, not looking for specific players, okay? Not looking for specific players here. What's your 6? We have 6 draft picks right now, assuming that that's all we're going to have for this draft. What are your 6 positions that you want? So not necessarily individual players of like, all right, give me your thoughts on these in particular guys, but what players, or what positions rather, are you looking for as your 6 picks?
All right, wide receiver. Probably middle linebacker. I'm thinking tight end. Probably somebody on the offensive line.
Okay.
So I'm at 4, right?
Yep.
Damn. Not running back. I can tell you that. I've been hearing all this. I've been hearing all this about sign another running back. No. I'm thinking maybe some depth. Well, not even depth. Maybe secondary.
Okay. More specifically, safety or corner?
Corner.
Corner. Okay. So you got one more spot, and also you could double up if you want to. Like if you think there's a position of need that we need to hit up. I'm not trying to limit you to like
no.
we need 6 individual spots. We could go a double up somewhere.
No, I think another lineman, offensive lineman, somebody of good size and character.
All right, so 2 OLs. So you have receiver, middle linebacker, tight end, 2 offensive linemen, and a corner. We differ a little bit. The ones that we obviously agree on are receiver, linebacker. Instead of a corner, I want a safety, but we're in a similar fit there.
Yeah.
I also want an offensive lineman, but only one. I want a defensive tackle since we got rid of our depth there. So I want to get a depth defensive tackle, and I actually do want a running back in this draft.
Really?
Yes, but we'll get.
You have your eyes on somebody, don't you?
In particular, yes, I do. But there's also a little bit of a need there. So, but we'll get into that. So now, here's your positions again: wide receiver, middle linebacker, tight end, 2 offensive linemen, and a corner. What are your ideal rounds for each pick. So we have a
Oh my
first, a
God.
second, a fourth, a sixth, and 2 7th-round picks. So what position is your ideal at pick number 11?
I think wide receiver.
Okay, you want that number 1 receiver in the first round. Okay.
Well, but again, you're putting me on the spot. I'm a believer in what they always say is pick the best guy available, regardless of need.
Mm-hmm.
Pick the best guy available at the time.
Okay.
So I'm not saying reach for a wide receiver. I just think we need a premier wide receiver,
Mm-hmm.
and I think if you're going to go for it, you're going to go in the 11th pick.
Okay. No, and you can qualify it however you want to. This is the
Thank you.
ideal. And there might not be the ideal in this particular draft, but I'm just kind of curious where you want these positions, like, and because it kind of is based on need a little bit, though. To be fair, because like one of the reasons you want to go receivers is because you view it as a big need, which I agree, it is a big need, and it makes sense, and
Yeah, but
you don't pick
a sucker wide receiver just because you need a wide receiver.
Yeah, just like we did at linebacker last year, right? We needed a linebacker and we took one, and he's not very good. Yeah,
I know.
All right, so you're in your ideal right now. You would go wide receiver 1. So this is kind of a need-based conversation, to be honest, because you're trying to fill it. But I understand if there's nobody there, there's nobody there. Because I talked to Nadi about this, and he said he wanted safety in round 1, but mainly because there's one in particular safety that he wants. He doesn't want to just take a safety because for the sake of this, for sake of nothing. But there is somebody that he actually wants, so it's a little bit of a combination. There might be somebody there you want, but also it's a position of need. So, okay, receiver round 1. Where are you going round 2? I know you said you had maybe a particular guy that you may be interested in before the show at round 2.
Yeah,
so that may lead you to what position?
Tight end.
Oh, you went tight end in round 2.
Isaiah Likely.
Isaiah Likely. Honestly, I know nothing about this guy.
He's
6'4".
He's 6'4" and a half. I always liked the half. He's 245. He impressed greatly at the Senior Bowl. Has really, really good hands, and
he's got good route running apparently too. I'm watching him right now, but keep talking.
No. Please watch him because this is what they're saying. This is the burgundy and gold. I always like to credit who I get the information from. The burgundy and gold report said that Isaiah Likely is a day 2 difference maker in the NFL draft. And he's tall. He's got great hands. He runs great routes. He's got weight. He's a good blocker. And he impressed on the Senior Bowl or in the Senior Bowl. So if he's around in the second, then maybe we don't worry about whether Logan Thomas is,
Yeah, it's interesting. He's definitely watching him a little bit. He a receiving threat. He definitely looks to be that.
Yeah, I mean, he's not far. I mean, I know that Ron Gronkowski is what, 6'6"?
Yeah.
So he's like an inch and a half close to Ron Gronkowski. And I don't know. I saw highlights of him and I thought, man, he's pretty impressive. I hope he doesn't turn out to be a
Jordan Reed.
Jordan Reed, thank you.
I was thinking I would
Josh
love for him to be a Jordan Reed as far as a talent, but yeah, with all the injuries and nonsense. All right, so based on his measurements, and I like him as a receiving threat, a part of me questions how great of a blocker he's going to be at the next level because it looks like he's only 238 pounds, which is a little light for a tight end. You'd probably want more like 250.
Well, this said what I saw was 245. Still light,
okay.
still slight. But
sometimes the listed measurements are a little bit different. This is actually what he weighed in at the Pro Bowl, and he
sometimes it's a little all the time.
Yeah, all the time. Fair enough. Fair enough. But yeah, no, it's so. This is what he weighed in, and he could have lost some weight trying to run a 40, like a faster 40, but he didn't run great at the 40-yard dash. He ran a 4.8 40-yard dash. So it looks like his
Yeah, but you're
measurables
not
aren't that
looking for a
great.
speed demon on what does Rod Gronkowski run on the
Well,
fourth
Rob Gronkowski,
40?
though, as you said, is like 6'6", 270 or something, 260.
I'm just saying
He's a little bit of a different beast.
well, okay.
Right here, what I'm reading, he's a 4th or 5th round prospect, so maybe I would be more interested in at the 4th round range. But it's fine if they end up reaching on a guy that they like, but it's okay. There's also other tight ends that could go there, so as I said, this is more position-based. So you got tight end in round 2. I do like the prospect, so don't hear me like crapping on it. It's just
No, I think you're
round 2 might be a
impressed.
little early.
I
Go
think
ahead.
you're impressed with the fact that I brought up a name of somebody you didn't consider because you freaking live football. I'm like, and by the way, to all our
Yeah.
listeners, Tim can tell you the third string running back of every team out there. I cannot.
Yeah. No, it's good. He looks like I want his quarterback. His quarterback's is going to be one of the better quarterbacks coming out next year. And if we got him this year and then drafted his quarterback next year, if Carson Wentz fails, that could be an interesting 1-2 for the ages. All right, so wide receiver 1, tight end 2. So you're going offense heavy. I know somebody else in the chat is going to love that. I think it was somebody said, I think it was Door Gunner, that said he wanted all offense this draft. And a lot of people agree with that sentiment. So they want to hit the offense hard. So yeah, Grayson McGall is a beast. I'm with you. That's the quarterback for Coastal Carolina where Isaiah likely plays. But anyway, so people are definitely going to be on board with your draft right now. They're loving this. So 4th round pick. That's our next pick. You have a middle linebacker, 2 offensive linemen, and a corner to draft so far.
Well, and again, I don't know what's available, but I think at this point we need secondary. And look, I'm willing to bend my desire for cornerback to safety. I want quarterback help. So
you know what? I'm gonna write DB. Because sometimes there's players that can play both, and so they're a defensive back. So, okay, you want a defensive back in round 4.
Yeah, because I really feel good, and I know we haven't gotten to the middle linebacker, but I really feel good about our front 7, and I want some backdoor help because I think sometimes that hurt us.
Also, it's a passing league. There's nothing. Yeah, it's a very interesting point. So, okay, this is interesting. So, wide receiver, tight end, DB, and now you have a 6th and 2 7ths. I'm not going to make you pick which one goes first in the 7th, but where are you going in the 6th?
Again, it's what's available. I mean, I'm thinking middle linebacker. I know we need offensive help, so I could go either way. It's whatever is available. I want a solid offensive lineman.
Well, what position do you think is more likely to be available there? Like, just in your intuition, where would you go first on that one? Do you think the 6th round is going to have, in theory, a better lineman in that range or a better middle?
No, I think there's a lot from my limited knowledge. I think there's a lot of really good, talented linemen because they never get the lineman. So I'll go lineman.
All right, so lineman in the 6th, and then you're going to go linebacker and another lineman in the 7th. Fair enough. All right, well, there you go. That's the draft.
Wow, I made it through
for J
Tim's.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a fun little thing. I said, just to go through mine quickly, because I did go through it yesterday, I want linebacker round 1, specifically Nakobe Dean. I want receiver round 2, specifically George Pickens. Round 4, I want to go lineman. I think round 4 is after round 4. You're getting a little bit sketchy of how good the lineman could potentially be because how many, usually they're easily seen because they're seen every single play, even on the game, the TV film. So it's kind of hard to miss on those. So I'm gonna go offensive lineman number 4, safety in round 6, and then I want a running back and a rotational defensive tackle in round 7. So that's where I'm going. Leo Chanel, great film and great technique. I heard he's a great run-stuffing middle linebacker, and Some people think he's the best true middle linebacker in this draft. So if that's a lot of people think we're going to go wide receiver round 1 and then linebacker round 2, and Leo Chanel is definitely in that range of round 2 linebackers out of Wisconsin, and that very well could be. And honestly, if we did, I don't like first round receivers. I'm going to say it again, and I'm never going to say I like it. I'm just going to say I'll live with it if they do go receiver at pick number 11 and linebacker. Like the day we drafted Dwayne Haskins, I freaked out. I was so mad. I was mad. I'm not going to do the same thing if they do draft a receiver. It is going to be what it is. Okay.
Well, and again, I will say this, that
Yep.
to whatever extent they want a wide receiver and they can trade back and still get him, like you said, maybe 25 or whatever, if they can do that and grab a couple extra picks for next year, I think it's brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't have a problem with a wide receiver. I think Terry, who they keep saying are getting close to a deal.
Yeah.
But anyway, so let's give the listeners something to look forward to. It. What point do we predict the record? Is that like August?
Well, I was actually going to ask a record question right now, but yes, that will be fun. We after some point, I would say soon after the actual schedule is released, me and Dad are going to go through the schedule with rose-colored glasses, and it's going to be non-kid friendly, honestly, because it's just going to be so blasphemous in so many ways. We're going to look like the biggest homers you've seen in your life, and it's going to be fun.
I'm going to tell you, all the listeners right now, I can't be any other way. If I thought they were going to go 0-17 next year, I would tell you they'd be 11-5 or 11-6. I can't help it.
Yep, it's gonna be dangerous. It's gonna be funny. But okay, last question, and we'll read some chat, and then we'll get out of here. Okay.
All right.
Will Washington have a better record in 2022 than 2021?
Which was 7-10?
Yep.
I'm going better.
All right. And then a little part B, how much better? What's your early predictions on records? Your early prediction.
I really would have a better idea after the draft, but
yeah,
you know what?
This is early.
I'll go with 10.
10
wins.
and
7.
All right. I like it. I think 10's a must. We also have the weakest schedule in the league this year. Did you know that?
Yeah,
did you hear about that?
We did, because we sucked last year.
Yep.
Last year we had one of the hardest schedules because we
won the division.
Won the division.
Yeah. All right. What's everybody in the chat saying? This is fun. The time frame for Logan Thomas's return is a huge factor. If he isn't ready week 1, we would only have Bates and Sammis Reyes at tight end. Yes, a lot of people do want to draft a tight end for that reason. How I want to handle it is there's a guy on free agency right now named Jesse James, and he's still out there. I would love to go ahead and sign him to a relatively cheap deal. I think he fits perfectly if we need to use him as a tight end 1 until Logan Thomas gets back, and then he could fit nicely as a tight end 2, and he's not overly expensive. That's where I see. Weaker schedule helps 7-9-1. I love
There's always one in every chat room.
Washington Command Center says 14-3. Unknown Ism says 9-8. I like that, fellas. 10-7 says Uptown Dre. I would love to get to 11. We've never gotten to 11 in. Well, maybe in my lifetime we did it once, but I was like 2 years old. I don't think in my lifetime we've gotten to 11. It actually might just be.
When the stat I brought up a couple weeks ago, we were the only team
without an 11-win team.
Without.
Yeah. You did say something along those lines.
Yeah, I think it was 11. Yeah, I think it was. We are the only team in the NFL, or the last team in the NFL to have 11-win season.
I know in the Dan Snyder era we don't have one. So that was 1998. So it's been a long, long time.
And of course now there's 17 games, so it's going to be tainted. Not that it's any better than Haskins, but I was all in.
I think it is better. I think Drew Lock is better, but he just doesn't get the freaking support from his coach. It's sad. But I'm not going to go on to my Drew Lock soapbox tonight. The time for we talked about that one.
Thank God.
A freak of nature, dude, has legit Micah Parsons explosiveness. I find that doubtful. Micah Parsons is an absolute freak. Like, I'm curious what Leo Chanel's or Chanel combined the combine stuff. He did run a 4.53. Ooh, okay, so he does have a good athleticism. What was his vertical? He ran 40, or he had a vertical leap of 40 and a half. He's 6'3", 250 pounds.
Maybe your chat area has more knowledge than you give him credit for.
I did hear about Chanel, but I didn't realize how much of an athlete he is. He actually, he scored a relative athletic score. Do you know what that is? So basically,
it's a relative athletic score. What's not?
Yeah. Well, basically, it's based on size and like height and weight and stuff, and they basically give you all right, so based on these measurables, how good of an athlete do you rate in the other ones? He rates a 9.99 out of 10.
Wow.
Can't get that 10. Can't get that 10.
No, well, you can't because.
Yeah.
But who's going to draft him?
With those kind of measurables and how I'm hearing that he's actually a really interesting prospect. I've heard great things of him actually being a true middle linebacker.
So maybe he's available at 11 and we grab him.
We're not taking him at 11. There's potential that he's there at number 47, but he may go early second round pick. If we go receiver, this is a guy that I may not mind trading up for because he actually does sound like a freak, and especially if he can be that middle linebacker. But even if he can't, even if he's an outside linebacker and we put Cole Holcomb in the middle, that's a guy that's very interesting. Micah was a 9.54 athletic score. Yeah, well, he's still a little bit faster and had a little bit more explosion as the vertical. But relatively speaking, I guess this is a little bit more impressive because he's 6'3", 250. But Micah's not far off that. What is he, like 6'3", 240? So, I don't know. It's interesting. Trade back and take him, maybe. James Davis had a freak show combine, but can't open field tackle yet. Yeah, that's a good point.
Is that a problem?
Nah, Leo has the tape. The tape? I agree. Leo is faster through 20 yards than Parsons too. Ooh. I'm not seeing that on the site I'm listing right now, but that is a stat they keep up of the first 20 yards compared to the actual situation. We need a true Mike linebacker. I agree, Unknownism. That is the position we need, but I don't think that the front office thinks that way. Martin Mayhew, we talked about it last week.
What is the front office thing?
Well, we talked about it last week of the front office believes in, what's his name? Cole Holcomb. They think Cole Holcomb could be the middle linebacker. So they may not even view middle linebacker as a whole on this team. They think that they may think we're good at linebacker, and they're going to go offense on this draft. We may go receiver.
But you know what? We go back to what I said very early on. You have to learn how to assess talent. And if there's a guy there, whatever position it is, he's the best guy right there, take him. I don't care what your need is. But the Redskins aren't, I don't feel confident they're smart enough to do that.
Yeah, and because that is a fair point, because then you're obviously starting to build a team. But there obviously is a point. Like, if the offensive lineman, like the left tackle, is the best available in the first round, I'm not taking him. Because we already have a starting left tackle and a starting right tackle.
Okay, but so who are you going to settle for instead of him?
I'm gonna lean towards more of a position of need, as long as they're somewhat close. Obviously, I'm not taking a position of need if, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, the offensive lineman's a 9, and then the wide receiver's a 7.
Well, that's
Like,
my point. It's like
they got to
if
be
you
somewhat close.
right, if you need a wide receiver and you got a guy that's really good, then you take him. But if you're looking there and it's like, wow, we don't really have much choice at wide receiver, then you go back to the guy that's really good. That's all I'm saying.
Football 7771 says, in Ron's interview with Julie Donaldson, he said that he wanted to protect Wentz's as a priority. If he drafts a guard at 11, I'm crying. I would not be happy about that either.
You do not need a guard at 11.
Imagine Bobby Wagner just let our call go to voicemail. He would have been a great fit. Yeah.
We have the greatest chat. They are so funny.
Yep. Thank you, Tim. Giving Cornelius Lucas his respect. Yeah. Cornelius Lucas, I think, is getting a little up there in age now. But yeah, he is a solid backup, like a swing tackle. You got to respect him for sure. And then we have Sam Cosmi drafted in the second round last year. And then we have Charles Leno that we just gave a big contract. So if we draft a tackle, we're kind of saying one of those was a waste. You know, I wish, like, I wouldn't have been mad to draft a tackle if we didn't re-sign Leno. Like, if instead of re-signing Leno and we signed a receiver in free agency, like maybe an Allen Robinson or, because I would have loved Allen Robinson here. And then I would take tackle first round because then we got Carson Wentz. So I would have liked that situation. But now.
And I know TZM puts it perfectly.
That's why I say trade back if you don't see anyone worthy of the 11th pick. True. I would love to. Trade back's the ideal. Seriously, because there's so much talent of positions of need in that 20 to 30 range.
Not quarterback.
No, not quarterback. I'm so anti-quarterback in this draft. It's bad.
I think next year it's looking better, but not quarterback this year.
Bring Luke Kuechly back. He fits the bill. He played for Carolina. Yeah, if only. He's never playing again. This year's draft class appears to be the least impressive in years. Like the entire draft class? I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. But what's unfortunate is that it's
kind of harsh.
What's unfortunate, it's really rich of positions we don't need. Like edge rusher there's a couple of top guys at the top that have tremendous upside in that top 10. There's corner that's through the roof that a lot of people want us to draft, that a couple of great guys at the top. Like offensive linemen, there's like nobody's talking about it here in Washington because we don't need it, but there's like 10 offensive linemen that may be worthy of a top 10 pick. Like there's a lot of talent there. We just don't need it. But it's interesting. Right. Alrighty. Well, thank you guys so much for all of your comments. Thanks for watching. It was a lot of fun. Thanks, Dad, for being here. Sorry I was a little bit late.
Hey, I'm glad I woke you up.
Yeah, at the perfect time because it was definitely a struggle. But any last words before we get out of here?
No, I'd say go Skins.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for hanging out, and we will be back next week for Skins in the Game. The next stream, I'm not sure exactly what I'm doing here after this. We do have our typical Call of Duty stream. Most of you don't care about that, but I do like Call of Duty.
I do not care about that.
Yep. I do have some videos, like actual videos that I do want to record. So the next time we may see you guys is Monday for our weekly stream for the like more general sports. So we may see you then next. I have a wedding this weekend, so I will not be streaming on Saturday for sure. But yeah, it should be fun. It should be interesting. So yeah,
by the
hit
way,
the like button. Thanks.
Tim is not getting married. It's somebody else.
Yeah, I have a wedding to go to. I'm already married. I already have that on there. So yeah, I don't need that. I don't need a second one. One's enough.
Hey, thanks to everybody for hanging out. I think it's Always love the comments. It's great.
Last thing I want to say before we get out of here is there are support links in the description below. If you feel so kind, you could support the channel through those means. And we do have the t-shirts and like the shirt design. There's also like hoodies and different things in there below that if you would like to purchase one of those, you can and become a part of it. It's a We Ain't Dead Yet shirt, so it'll be fun. But yes, thanks for everybody, and we're going to get out of here.
You.
And until next time.